What's up, you guys? All right, well, I have a dog about half an inch away from my face. You know her. She's a famous June girl. She's my junkyard dog, rescue dog. And remember to adopt, don't shop. So today is my 25th consecutive green day. So man, what did I do differently about 25 days ago that has put me into this green streak? Well, one of the big things I did, girl, could you step aside just for a moment? One of the big things that I did was I made the decision to trade with smaller share size. And, you know, although in the last couple days I've actually taken slightly bigger share size, I have still been generally trading with pretty small size. We're gonna go over here. This looks like this is a nice place. Ugh. All right, look at this. Isn't this nice? Oh, it's like a bed. And the weather's starting to get warm here. It really is. This is a nice time of year in the Berkshires. So, yeah, I made the decision to trade with smaller share size. Today I took a 13,000 share position though. And although it was of a stock that was priced at about $2.90, it was definitely the biggest position I've taken in a couple of months since March. And I was thinking about it. I was like, well, was this a good thing or a bad thing to be this aggressive? And I feel like, I feel like today it was the right move. But I did so well in April focusing on small size, being able to pivot quickly, get in, get out. So here's how I positioned myself today. I started the day with smaller share size. And then once I had what I knew was a decent profit cushion, I'd made some money. I was like, those were a couple of solid trades. I'm in good shape here. Then instead of sizing down, because the stock was still strong, and this was XRF right off the watch list from this morning, because the stock was strong, I said, you know what? I'm gonna try to roll some of this cushion that I have, some of these profits into the next trade, and I'm gonna size up a little bit. Now, this is a stock that, unlike MGNX, which I didn't trade because it was $15, then it went up to 17, 18, 21, maybe even higher now. I stopped looking at it. That was a more expensive stock that had big spreads. I wouldn't have felt comfortable sizing up very much on that. The risk just would have been too high. But on XRF, I felt comfortable. I was able to take 10,000 shares and really feel like I was really only risking about $1,000. And so I stepped up a little bit, and that's how I probably ended up turning the day from 5,000 up to 6, 7, 8,000. So I'm now sitting with about $117,000 in profit since my last red day. And I'm gonna show you how my trader view stats, my P&L looks, where the first week of April trading with small size, I made money, but I was kind of just going up slowly. And then I started to, get a little more confident. Once I cleared the slate from some of the emotionally impulsive types of trades I'd been doing in March when the market was really crazy, once I'd clear the slate, I was able to kind of feel much more confident. And I would honestly say right now that my trading and my confidence around my trading is the highest it's probably been in, I don't know how long. December I felt really good, turning $500 into 53,000. But I honestly feel even better right now than I did then. I'm not sure why, but I think it just speaks to having a nice stretch of momentum where stocks have been, for me, responding to the patterns that I teach and that I trade every single day. So I think where I start to feel less confident is when I have a period where what I'm doing is not working. And I'm like, what's going on? This is frustrating. I'm following the rules of my strategy and I'm losing money. Obviously my strategy is accuracy around 68, 70%. This month I've been at 80% accuracy. So that tells me that I am just really on point right now. And there's going to be times where you're on point. There's going to be times where the market doesn't respond as well, but I'm just going to really try to soak it in, enjoy this period where the market is hot for traders like us that capitalize on momentum, and also feel grateful that I've taken this opportunity to branch out a little bit with this sort of supplemental strategy of buying off of support or buying some of the pullback trades to the VWAP or the moving average, because that has definitely added some profit. So it's been a new way to trade these stocks. I think really the only other way that I could start trading these would be to start shorting them, which would mean I would need to have a broker that had shares available. And short sale restriction, cost to borrow shares, all of that is a barrier to entry there, not just for me, but for a lot of beginners as well. So I probably won't do that. And then the other way would be to do trades that are longer hold times, where I capitalize on a bigger part of the move by not getting in and getting back out. I might start to feel comfortable doing that as I see more of these stocks hold their gains, but as we continue to see stocks pop up, make nice moves, and then give it all back, I'm going to continue to feel like I need to be quick on my feet and pivot. So right now, the momentum is hot. I'm going to keep being aggressive. 25 consecutive green days. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be live streaming on YouTube as always. And for the last few days, I've gone live at 9 a.m. So you guys can bookmark my page. If you actually click on my profile, you'll see my profile page where I've got my kind of like wallpaper or whatever they call it, that kind of paper of the Warrior Trading logo, and where you see my welcome video and you can click on my videos and things like that, my playlist. So when you're on that page, you can refresh that page tomorrow morning. So right around 9, I'll start streaming with the audio off, and it'll say watch list starting soon around 9:10, 9:15. And then around 9:10, 10 past 9, 9:15, I'll start streaming the watch list, and hopefully you guys will all be able to tune in, because again, today, just like yesterday, just like Monday, APDN, what was it yesterday? Was it MDGS yesterday? No. GNPX yesterday, and then XRF today. So right off the watch list. So tune in tomorrow, all right? And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Daily recap, as always, questions, comments, leave them below, and see you guys in the morning. All right, bye everyone. What's up, everyone? All right, so we're going to do our midday market recap, go over the trades from today. Up $8,652.26, basically all of it on XRF. This was straight off the watch list. Now, just to give you kind of a refresher of where I'm at on the month. So this is obviously, today's May 6th. My trades have been imported up through yesterday. So Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. 27, 23, and 27 trades. Certainly trading a little bit more actively here than I was at the beginning of April. 11, 3, 8, 7, 10. But then, in the last month or so, we've been seeing a lot of opportunity. And this has been the time where I've felt like it makes sense to trade a little more actively. And the profits have certainly been holding up, so no reason to change that. So coming into the first 3 days here, really, really nice start with, let's see, my profit loss ratio being about 1-to-1, 350 by 360. So I've had a couple of maybe slightly bigger losses. I had one yesterday, 1,500, I guess it was. But my accuracy is 80%. So out of 77 trades, I've had 62 winners and only 14 losers. And I had one break-even trade. And my trades have been pretty quick. And that's because, and part of the reason that my profit loss ratio has actually gone down a little bit has been because I've been trading a lot more of the dip trades. Just because, as it has happened, the stocks that I've been focusing on have been very thickly traded. And sometimes when stocks are thickly traded, also known as crowded, the breakouts don't work as well. We take breakout trades and then they fail, or they just do small breakouts and then pull back. So XRF, this is the one from today. It's currently up 151%. All right, so a pretty awesome gain there for this stock. And this morning around 9:15, when I was doing my watch list, it was at the top of the gap scanner. It gapped up 123% with a 5.88 million share float, which I double checked at FinViz just to cross check it, because sometimes I've noticed the trade ideas float isn't correct, or sometimes they don't have the float listed. But there was one that I traded yesterday, GMPX, that was a little bit off. So I feel like I need to kind of just double check it and make sure I don't think it's a 6 million share float and it's actually 12 or 18 million shares, because that is going to have some effect on how it trades. So anyways, double checked it, saw that it is indeed around a 6 million share float. And I pretty much had this one as the one I was watching out of the gates. I mean, it looked good. It was a nice gapper. And so my game plan on it was, all right, it's holding the volume weighted average price. So let me make this a little bit bigger here. All right, so this is holding the volume weighted average price this morning. This was the consolidation. So I said, all right, guys, I'm thinking a possible entry could be either, there's two sort of obvious entry points in my opinion. One is a breakout trade above the high of this level right here, which is 27. All right, so that was that pre-market pivot. And then we've got the pre-market high of 240. So there's a possible entry at 227, a possible entry at 240. Those are breakout trades. That's buying a break of the pre-market pivot or the pre-market high. Again, for those that aren't familiar, those are strategies that I teach in the classes. And this is a strategy that I've been trading for a really long time. I mean, this is not new stuff. So you can go to view courses when you're on the dashboard. This will log you in through the API to our learning management software. And then let's see, small cap day trading course, chapter 4 is where we break down the daily setups, and then chapter 6 is where we get into the gap and go strategy. So any stock gapping up like this has a potential to be traded for the gap and go strategy, gapping up and continuing higher. And so I have several setups that I will trade on gapping stocks. And sometimes people will say, I saw someone in the comments yesterday say, Ross, you should try trading a different setup each month and only trade that setup. So like month 1, you only trade red to green moves. Month 2, you only trade bull flags. Month 3, you only trade ABCD patterns. And although that is an interesting idea and could be a good way to kind of refine trading that specific pattern, when I start each day, what I focus on is the type of stock I'm going to trade. And I've really kind of dialed in, especially in the last couple weeks, not trading more expensive stocks. Even though sometimes that makes me feel like I'm missing opportunities, I've been focusing on the stocks that I statistically make the most money on. Again, this is a tangent off a tangent, but if you don't know your statistics, it's really hard to make those types of decisions. So this is going to be 4 or 5 years of data right here, 5 years of trading data. This is almost 6,000 trades. Let's go all the way to the beginning of 2016. So I started using this software in 2016. So this is almost 6,000 trades over the course of 5 years. And this gives me a lot of insight about what I'm doing that's working and what's not working. What price stocks do I make the most money on? What time of day? How much volume? All of that stuff, my win-loss expectation, liquidity. This is all of the stuff that I use to make decisions about when to be aggressive, when to be conservative, and what type of stocks to trade. So if you don't know your metrics and you've been trading for a while, it's not a bad idea to jump in here. Now you can go to import trades, and these are all the different brokers that you can import trades from. So you've got Trade Zero, you've got TD Ameritrade, Thinkorswim, you've got SureTrade or Speed Trader, Scottrade, Questrade. You see there's Lightspeed, obviously, that's what I'm using. Fancy Stock Traders, that's actually our simulator, and the Warrior Trading Simulator, it's also ours. We asked them to add these. Dash Trader, you've got so many different, there's really E-Trade. if you don't have your broker here, you could probably ask them and they'll add it because they want you guys to use this. I mean, it's $50 a month, but I think it's money well spent. So anyways, back to here. So my data tells me that I'm going to do better if I focus on stocks that are a little bit lower price. And so that again was the focus today. And I made the decision that, again, for probably the third or fourth day in a row, I'm going to try to really focus on one stock and just be dialed in on it and trade as aggressively as possible. So once I find that one stock, I don't want to limit myself to only trading one setup because I don't know what setup is going to form. I don't know if it's going to give me a red to green move. I don't know if it's going to give me an ABCD pattern, or in the case right here, a first pullback right underneath this pre-market pivot. So you can see on the 1 minute how that right there was a really nice setup, the break of 230. And that squeezed from there all the way up to 259. So that was an awesome trade. Now we had another trade right down here at the open. And for Warrior Pro students, what I'm going to do for you guys is import these or upload these trades to the live trading archives so you guys can go back and watch it. So right before the bell, I start recording. And so my first trade on this was right in this area. So I think my first trade was a dip around 2. Let's see, I now don't remember. So here's the bell, 9:30. Orders at 2:30. Now in this case, it looks like I kind of just jumped in this, which is a little bit of a aggressive entry there at 214, and my stop would have been 2, so $900 stop. And I was looking for this to break over 220. We actually on this one struggled a little bit there before it finally broke over 20. It then flushed down, and then I did a little dip entry on this flush. Let's see. So right here, let's watch that. It dips here, and this is where I wanted to press the buy button. Boom, boom, boom. So annoying that I filled at 13 when I really thought I was going to be filling at 6. Now my stop on that was $2. So there I'm in at 2, whatever that was, and we get that pop up to 225. Then we have a micro pullback right here, and I got a partial fill on that. Now we've got 240, 250, 260, and I mean this again. I just kept riding the momentum, buying the pullbacks, doing dip trades, and you can see this thing just went higher and higher and higher. So I was getting in, getting out. I did increase my size today a little bit. My biggest trade was right here. This was the biggest trade that I took. So watch this starter. This is, it's a pretty nice trade. So this is a stock that at the time was up 187%. It had the high up here. It was now pulling back, and I was looking to do a dip entry around the 9 moving average. So I'm looking for it to pull back a little bit. It dips down here, 65, 68, 65. So there's 65, 66 on the bid. I'm looking at the bid price at the moment. So right there, we got that little flush, and this is going to allow me to get in with a stop down about 10 cents. So I'm in now with a 10-cent stop, 55. Now it starts to squeeze up, and because I took that dip, when we get the first candle to make a new high, I've already got a nice trade. So we've got a nice trade here. Then I get back in up here for the break over 3. We get the break of 3 right here. Watch this. We're going to get another little dip. There we go. Break of 3. And this quick break, I was looking for this to snap over 3. Kind of disappointing that it only hit a high there of about 306. So I was looking for this to pop through 3. There's 94, 95, 96. I'm adding 97, 98, looking for the break of 3. Here's 3. Boom. That's that quick break that I was looking for. And that's right there on that trade, $1,900. So, sweet trade. And this one gave some nice opportunities, but I had to be fairly aggressive, jumping in, jumping out. And I did increase my share size after a good month in April. I've kind of felt like, okay, for the month of May, I don't want to do anything different in the sense that what I did in April worked well. And one of the things that I did was I kept my share size restricted for the first few weeks at about 6,000 shares. During the last 2 weeks, here and there, I would increase my share size as it felt appropriate, as long as I felt that I could manage my risk. And so in this case, I didn't increase my share size until I was already feeling like I was in the driver's seat on the day, that I was well in the green. And then I thought, look, if I can take a couple trades here, maybe I'm risking the profit of my last winner, but this stock is strong. And if I can take that trade and let it kind of work, this might end up being a really nice one. So I felt comfortable stepping up a little bit, and I don't feel like I was taking really a tremendous amount of risk on those trades. And in fact, today, I think my biggest winner was probably about $700, which is not bad at all. The high was 306. It didn't come back up to that level before fading back down, which is disappointing. But I still made money on that trade, and then there were a couple of dip trades down in this area. So overall, it was solid. And if we could have a stock like this every day that goes up 130, 140, 150% on 41 million shares of volume, I would actually love that, because I'm finding that although these stocks don't always respond super, super well to quick breakouts, I am feeling pretty comfortable trading them. This stock here, AXLA, was on our gap scanner as well, gapping up 23%. You can see it's got this seller right there. See that seller that was at $7? It broke that level and a quick pop. But notice the spreads are bigger, 15-cent spreads. It's lighter volume. It's up 48%. On the one hand, it looks nice. It's a nice flat top breakout right there. But one of the reasons I've decided not to trade it was because I just didn't know if it was going to have enough volume. And so I ended up leaving this one alone and maybe missing some opportunity. But by being dialed in on one stock for pretty much the whole morning, I don't think there were too many setups that I missed on this one. There were a couple I missed because I didn't get filled or because I chose to not take it. But I'm not going to go back and be like, oh man, I missed a great setup. Sometimes when you jump from stock to stock to stock, you sort of lose your place and you miss setups, and you can end up kind of feeling like you're just constantly grasping at straws as they're slipping away from you. And some days momentum does jump from stock to stock, and you do have to be willing and able to switch gears quickly to make the most on that day that you could. But the last few days, focusing on one has been pretty nice, and we've had one each day that has been like the top gapper that's been working. Now, if we went back a couple weeks, I don't know which day, I can't off the top of my head remember which day specifically, but we had a couple of days, back here in I don't know, maybe this day or this day, where we actually didn't have much of anything on the gap scanner. There wasn't anything gapping up that looked good. There were a couple of penny stocks, which I'm not going to trade, stocks under $1. And there were a couple of, really expensive stocks or stocks with huge floats, like, Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. I'm not going to, I did trade it a little bit back during, the big drop. And I know Mike has traded it a few times, but, this is a big gap up, but this stock is a float that's just really high. It's really heavy. It's big institutional trading, and it's 200 million share float. I just don't want to trade it. So there will be probably a day at some point, whether it's in the next few days or a week or whatever, where we'll sit down here at 9:15 and be like, wow, there's actually nothing on the gap scanner today. This is kind of a bummer. But hopefully that doesn't happen too often. And even on those days, then we can depend on what's hitting the high day momentum scanner. So to answer your question there, Chris, how much money am I putting into the trades in order to make what I made today? So yesterday, my trades, I took about, 20, I think it said 27 or 37 or something like that. Let me just go back here to the month of May. 27 trades, 23 the day before, 27 the day before that. So today, for each one of those trades, you could do the math. So I'm trading a $2 stock. So 2,000 shares times $2 is $5,000 in the trade, roughly. Well, times $2 is $4,000, but $250. My biggest position of 13,000 shares at $3 was about 30,000 is 10,000 shares plus another 3,000 is so it's about a $38,000, $39,000 position. Now on that trade, I made almost $2,000, which is, to take 38,000 and make $2,000 is not bad. And remember, this is a common misconception that traders will have, or beginner traders, that Ross, you were risking 38,000 to make 2,000. That's terrible. I wasn't risking 38,000. I'd be risking 38,000 if my stop was zero. If I would hold the stock until it went all the way to zero. But I'm not going to do that. I might hold the stock down $1,000. Maybe I'd hold it down 1,500 at most. So I'm really risking, in that case, about 1,500 to make 1,500 or 2,000. So that's not bad as a profit-loss ratio. So I look at it as how much I'm risking in terms of my entry point and where my max loss is, where I'm going to throw in the towel. Because I don't hold stocks overnight. I'm not, if I have a bad trade, I just cut it loose and I can come back, if it sets up again or whatever. If I keep my losses small, then it's easy to just come back to the next trade and quickly rebound. So again, my average losers here over the course of the last 5 years, $990. But over the course of just the last, we'll do 4-1. This period right here, they've been much smaller, and that has been a conscientious effort to have smaller losses. So since my last red day, I've had $109,000 of profit, plus today that's $117,000 in profit. $117,000 since my last red day. So this is my 25th consecutive green day. And it's the middle of the week. This is the day of the week where I tend to make the most. So that's a nice, it's a good day, and I'll be back at it tomorrow. At this point on the month, I could kind of ease off if I wanted to. I'm already up over 20,000 on the month. I'm not going to ease off, but I don't really need to feel a lot of pressure since I've had a good start. I was talking with a fellow yesterday when I was down at my shop working on one of my cars, and he mentioned how he's been trading options for the last 8 years or so, and sometimes he has these periods where he does really well, and then he has periods where he's really struggling, and he's like, man, it's just so much of it is psychological, because when I'm doing well, I feel good, I feel confident, and then I just kind of keep doing better. And when I'm doing badly, I start getting frustrated, and I start getting sloppy and desperate and impulsive and thinking about how much, that money that I lost, how much I could have used to pay my bills. And, it just sort of, it either positively manifests or negatively, depending on which way it is at the time. So what can you do to put yourself in a position where you're going to start that positive cycle? And if you're in a negative cycle, what can you do to cut that, stop it, and then turn it into a positive cycle? So I was on a negative cycle towards the end of March, where if I go, let's see, let me look down here, win-loss expectation. What is this? So let me just go here from there, and then, okay, so this has been my year so far. So, I kind of started in terrible shape on the year, which is not great. Got myself back to green by the end of the month of January, strong February, pulled back in March, came back up towards April, and now I'm in a really nice groove here. But during this period where I was dipping down, I was feeling in March really frustrated with myself. I was like, I'm being too aggressive, I'm over trading. And each day I come in, I tell myself I'm not going to do it, and then I do it again. And so that's when I said, all right, as frustrating as this is to do, I need to put that max share size on my account of 6,000 shares. I need to start capping my risk. I need to start really tightening it up. And although those first few days aren't fun, I need those days to clear the slate and put as much distance between me and those last few big red days as possible. And after about a week of doing that, I really started to feel so much better. because even though I didn't make a ton of money during that first week of small size, I think that it wasn't in here. It was right here that I started. It was right here, because March I was red and then made it back and then lost on the last 2 days, and this is where I was like feeling frustrated, because right here at the end of March I was basically the same place as I was in about a month previous. So this was where I started that slow kind of progress. But out of that, then I started to feel confident. Then I started to feel like I can take slightly bigger size. I can be a little more aggressive, and look at how it's started to open up for me. So when you're in this zone of choppy, this stretch here, I was being aggressive, but you can see I was much more up and down. I was being much more, I was being too aggressive, and I was whipping around. I was having big green days, then big red days, then back to big green days, like back to back. And that's stressful, and I just didn't want to have that anymore. So I would encourage you, if you're in one of those red streaks, to try to press the reset button for yourself. And if you're one of those folks that are in a nice green streak, do everything you can to keep yourself in that state of mind. So I eventually will have a red day here. And one of the things that's important is to try to keep that red day as small as possible, to not let it get out of control, to cut the losses quickly, and make it a day that I can recover from within, maybe a day or two, and not have a huge red day. That's what I really need to avoid. So what I'm doing right now is working, and I'm going to keep it going. All right, now we're going to switch gears for Warrior Pro students. I'm going to jump into the Warrior Pro room, and we're going to do Q&A until noontime. So Warrior Pro students, let's jump over there and start our QA session. And everyone else, I'll see you guys first thing tomorrow morning. All right, bye everyone. Hey, did you know every morning I go live to stream my pre-market watch list? Subscribe to the channel, press the alert button, and you'll get the notifications. And if you want to learn more about trading, check out the links in the description. And if you have questions, post them in the comments, because I personally respond to every comment posted on my channel.